The 90s was a decade when movies came out.
It was also a decade when we were born.
Yes, that's why it's the best decade. Seamless. What's up?
Nothing.
Okay. Sarah Connor, big icon in Thingo. Terminator.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Terminator 2?
No.
I thought Demi would have.
I think we watched one.
The first one? Oh, we've never watched the first one together.
Oh, I don't know.
We've got Terminator 2 coming up.
There was a while there where I didn't like action movies.
Oh,
so
it was
most
a
of my
really
life.
hard time in my life.
So,
When Demi and I met, she didn't like action movies. She didn't like fantasy movies. You still don't. So, action movies. You didn't like seafood. You didn't like fun. You didn't like video games.
It's not that I did. No, I like video games.
Yeah,
but
now you do.
No. I used to play video games,
Yeah.
but only car racing games.
Yeah.
Because I can't do anything else.
Yeah. Shout out to Buggy Beach Racing or Beach Buggy Racing, whatever it's called.
And Crash.
Yeah, but that was the one that we really started playing a lot of games with, was Beach Buggy Racing.
Yeah. I can't do anything else.
Yeah,
Any
that's
other
true.
games. I get so flustered very quickly.
Yes.
And it's just not fun for me.
That's fair.
But, I wouldn't say that I didn't like action. It just wasn't my go-to pick.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But a terrible pick.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you missed out on enjoying Sarah Connor, played by, I can't remember. I'm terrible with people's names. But she wasn't in many other things. But I always just think of Laura Dern, who's a very different person. Why can't I remember her name? Anyway, John McClane came back for number 2, number 3, number 4 was in the 2000s for Die Hard. That is still very iconic character, but just less of the everyman.
Yeah.
The 90s, I feel, wanted to have that everyman character, but also they could do everything, and also they were very funny, and also the action was just like the 80s, but they were also still a morally grey character like the 70s. The 90s just didn't know what it wanted out of its normal human heroes.
It was probably at the beginning of a change.
Yeah, and that's where you get your characters like Jack Traven and Johnny Utah. Jack Traven, or Traven, I don't know. Does that name ring a bell to you?
That's a shit name.
It is. That is Keanu Reeves' character in Speed.
Okay.
So the character of that, he isn't that iconic, but the movie is. So that's why I added that one in there. But Johnny Utah, he's pretty iconic in Point Break. He was one of the early, he was very similar to a 70s style character, I feel, but not as morally complex, and then he became morally complex. So it's kind of like this transition from, so the 70s is your grizzled hard guys who are oh god damn it about everything,
Manly men.
yeah, and then the 80s was that on steroids. They were all, and so they weren't all god damn it, they were god damn it about everything.
Yeah.
Then the 90s was like Boy Scouts who were becoming that. So it was the kids who grew up on the 70s movies and the teenagers who did now were in their 20s and 30s in these movies being I want to be like that guy. But they don't have any of the grizzledness. So, but then John McClane came in at the end of the 80s as this everyman, but then in the 90s he was the whole package. At no point during the second one did I feel he was in any danger. And the third one, kind of, but at the same time, I was like, I know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
So, and then you got, I don't know why I put this one on the list because he's the villain, but Castor Troy, although he's played half the time by, I meant to put in the character. Have you ever seen Face Off?
No.
I want to take his face off.
I've heard you talk about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's one of the best action movies ever made. It's the same guy who did Mission Impossible 2 did it, but it was so much better. So Castor Troy's the villain. I can't remember the name of the guy, but it was just the way. So Nicolas Cage and Greaseman.
John Travolta.
Greaseman. They switch places, but like medically. Yeah. So it's the character of whatever John Travolta's guy is playing Castor Troy, but that's what I remember as being really good because he was really interesting. It was Nicolas Cage playing him. I just got that all mixed up. And Cameron Poe is very iconic. People probably don't know his name. He's the guy from... Holy fuck. I forgot the name of the movie. Give me 2 seconds. I was right about... So Cameron Poe, you might not recognize that name, but you'll remember, first of all, the character, and second of all, the hair from Con Air.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you'd seen that movie.
No.
It's so good. He has the longest mullet.
Nice.
Like you might be able to see.
Is it a good mullet, though?
It's excellent. You might be able to see that I have long hair. So just imagine me, but if you shaved.
Shaved?
No, because he's balding. But like just not much down here. How I said I wanted to have my hair if I start to go bald. Just cut heaps off the top and let it go really long at the back.
So that's what not a good mullet.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, Cameron Poe. I think that he's iconic, but I probably stand alone there.
You never know.
Makes me want to sing that song. Stand alone. No.
I don't know that song.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm talking to an alien. I'm like, this is really iconic.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I'm probably not the right co-host for this episode, but I'm all you've got.
Moving on. The 2000s. This is where you get your really, like, just some really fucking good heroes. Some really, like, specialized stuff here. So, heroes. So, you've got the Transporter. I can't remember if his name is ever actually said in those movies, but Jason Statham's character from the Transporter franchise. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a James Bond-esque type of guy. You know, mysterious, like cool. Yeah. Or as my mum calls him, Jason Stratham. That is not a joke.
She'll never get it right.
I have corrected her at least 100 times. For a while there, I just gave up on correcting her.
Yeah.
Every time she's like, Jason Stratham.
Have you seen that new film with Jason Stratham?
Lots of people say film, all right. And I shouldn't have put it in it should be in the 2010s, but I'll get to that. Then you've got Rocky and Rambo come back.
Together?
Yeah, they had sex.
Nice.
And had a baby. Anyway, Rocky Balboa, his big return. The 2000s, like, was just a time where nobody really knew what they wanted. Nobody was really happy with what we got.
Everyone was confused because they didn't think we would make it into the 2000s.
Oh.
Well, I remember, not like that, but I remember Conan on an episode saying...
She's always talking about that bloody Conan guy.
Saying at that time everyone didn't know how...
Yeah.
Like, I guess calendars and stuff would change over.
What?
Not calendars, but... What was he talking about?
They just put a 2 at the front.
Like, maybe he was talking electronically.
Do you know
Apparently that was a legit thing. Like, I might be misremembering.
That sounds insane.
But everyone was like, how is this going to work? Like, because all they'd ever known is one da-da-da-da.
That is like the most collective stupidity thing I've ever heard.
I could be getting this wrong, but he did talk about it.
Are you sure that he wasn't doing one of his famous jokes?
No, he was
Conan
saying
O'Brien,
like...
the comedian.
He's saying like, it's crazy how times have changed, how they used to be concerned about that.
And now it's like, when is the world going to end?
Yeah, I guess because technology wasn't as advanced as it is now. So they were like... Normal people were like, how is this going to work?
I suppose.
Yeah.
While Demi double checks her wild claims about Conan O'Brien and his wild claims, I'm going to continue reading because Demi doesn't recognize any of these. So yeah, Rocky came in and it was just it was good, that movie, but it lacked like any of like the impact. Because it was just an old dude living out his fantasy of being able to beat the best boxer in the world or whatever.
I'm not crazy. Y2K was commonly used to refer to a widespread computer programming...
I know what Y2K was.
Shortcut.
Everyone thought the world was going to end because they thought all of the electronics were going to fry or kill everyone or something and the world was going to end. You were saying that Conan O'Brien said that people weren't sure if the computers were going to be able to present a 2 instead of starting with a 1.
Okay, well, I said I may have misspoken, but yeah, the change was expected to bring down computer systems because it was changing from 1999 to 2000.
Yep.
Yeah.
1999 or
to 2000.
2000. Oh no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dumb fucking people out there, isn't there?
Well,
Just like, oh, the world's going to end in 2012 because a calendar made thousands of years ago, they ran out of numbers. Like, it's almost like they were over-prepared for how long their civilization was going to last.
Anyway, I'm not crazy. People were like, how is this going to work?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Rambo is the best Rambo movie, only second to The First Blood, which then you can't even compare them. Have you seen Rambo 4?
Nope.
Great, let's move on.
I thought they weren't called Rambo.
It's only one of them's called... Well, they got changed after the fact, but it was First Blood, then First Blood Part 2, then it got changed to Rambo First Blood Part 2. Then the third one was called Rambo 3. Then the fourth one was just called Rambo.
Okay.
And then the fifth one is called Rambo Last Blood. And I refuse to watch it because it looks like just a big pile of dog shit.
Okay.
So yeah. Hartigan from Sin City. Bruce Willis is back at it, proving that he was just king of the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
He came in the 90s really good, but 2000s is where he hit his stride. He was just doing all sorts of shit. He was doing action movies, comedies. He voiced RJ in Over the Hedge.
Yes.
He was just doing it all. And Hartigan is a great example of that. I love Sin City. I loved his character in that. He was so sad and depressing, and I love that shit. I love when people are sad. He also played John McClane again in the 2000s, proving that he couldn't let go because there was Rocky, Rambo, and Die Hard 4. So it was Rocky 6, Rambo 4, and Die Hard 4. Mm-hmm. Just returning to all of these characters when there was no need for it. But whereas Rocky Balboa was pretty good, and the character's obviously still iconic, and Rambo was excellent, Die Hard 4 was pretty bad, if I do say so myself.
Did they stop after that one?
Nope, they made another one.
Okay.
And it was really bad.
So they didn't learn.
All right, so the fourth one was not even really a Die Hard movie, and the fifth one was not anywhere ever resembling a Die Hard. I'm not going to... we'll be here all day.
Okay.
Okay. Another lady, the bride, played by Uma Thurman. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Gets pretty close to being like a supernatural character, considering she's shot in the head, buried alive, then survives that, and then goes on a revenge mission and kills all the people who
Well, this
killed
is at a time where that sort of stuff starts coming in.
Well, it was Tarantino.
Like,
Yeah.
people, just normal people,
Yeah. Well, it's
get
80s,
away with so much.
It's 80s-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a common trope of like a character who's supposedly killed and left for dead, and then they survive and come back, and everyone's like, "What? You're alive?"
Yeah.
So yeah, but where she fights the crazy 88s, holy fuck! And I say this, and I'm like, Demi hasn't fucking seen this. She doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Kill Bill, Volume 1.
Ah, yes.
And Volume 2, but the crazy 88 scene is Volume 1. Now we're under the 2010s. So we're out of the 2000s, which was a fucking hellscape. We had some good characters come in, but not
Just
really
all round.
hellscape.
The 2000s.
Well, I liked it because I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then the 2010s, and this was a great era for Rob. As in me. I'm Rob, in case you forgot. I had a great time. Puberty was in full swing. I was getting some big muscles. I was thin. That's since changed. I was in high school. I was having a great time. I was having big time success with the ladies, and no one can argue with that because no one's around to argue with me. You weren't there. You weren't there. Some of you might have been there. Please don't tell anyone the truth. Anyway, 2010s, we're starting off with a good one, and I know you know this one, so I'm going to let you talk about it. Dom Toretto.
Yes.
Go on.
Somebody that started off an actual normal person.
Yes.
And then very progressively.
Did he, though? Because he was pretty I suppose it was only the first one, then he came back in the fourth one. So in the first one, a little bit.
In the first few...
in the fourth one...
It's very different.
Which is his second actual movie. He is shot about here, if anyone can see.
In the trap.
He just brushes it off like it's no big deal.
Okay.
If somebody punched me in the trap, I'd be like, ugh! But he got shot, and it was like,
well, that's the
it
fourth
didn't hit
one.
any bones or vital organs. Doesn't even matter.
Did we establish that was when it all started going bad?
Well, that was that was when he brought it back with he was a producer and everything now.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one, he was just an actor.
Yeah.
But it was the sixth one where they just gave up on reality.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then it just got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. The sixth one is when he became like a kind of a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 2010s is like the era of egos, and CGI could like make that happen.
And just pushing everything to the limit.
Yeah.
Of believability.
Believability. You were so close. Believability.
Yes.
Was almost there. Machete. Danny Trejo's iconic character. I've seen a bit of that first movie. Apparently, it's confirmed that he is the same machete as the one that's in Spy Kids. So like the nice kind of gruff uncle from Spy Kids in his spare time is just butchering people. And like, I'm pretty sure it's Machete where he has a threesome with Lindsay Lohan and I can't remember
Who plays him?
Danny Trejo.
Oh, you said that, yeah.
Yeah. And another woman, and they're the first lady and the daughter of the president. And then the president, I think, is Charlie Sheen. And he's like, what the fuck is this? So they're just all over the place. But great. And he's an iconic character.
Yeah.
Like, you know him when you see him. Then we've got Jack Reacher. I had to represent my boy. I made a YouTube video about him.
Yeah.
Barney Ross. Probably not that iconic, but it's Stallone coming back with the Expendables. Mm-hmm. It was all right. But that's like the thing here. Is like we got Dom Toretto. He's not even that iconic. It's more like Vin Diesel behind him. Then Machete is kind of, but it's also because his name is on the movies. Then Jack Reacher, I was like, but not really. But I made a YouTube video about him, so I can't leave him out. Then Barney Ross, it's like, it's more the fact that he got all these old superstars back for his movies. Then we have John Wick.
Yes.
Very iconic character.
Yes.
Everything about him is iconic. The black suit, the slicked hair, the beard, the fact that his wife died, the fact that his dog died in front of him, so he killed 100 people.
He doesn't speak much.
Yeah, he progressively talks less and less. He's
in the next movie, he'll be a mute.
Hopefully. Maybe he got shot in the throat. Oh, spoilers. I can't remember where. He was in the chest. Or in the stomach?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it by now, you're not going to see it. And it's John Wick. Like, you know.
Yeah. He'll come back alive anyway.
Yeah. But he's very iconic. He's probably the only iconic non-superpowered character out there at the moment.
For sure.
Or like non-supernaturally super something character.
Even though in like the last couple movies
he can survive, but
he may as well be a superhero.
But the thing that John Wick does well is that it shows that he gets hurt. Like, yeah, he's tough, and yeah, they you know, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really make sense in terms of how he survives it, but it's not the same as like Dom Toretto, where he can get launched out of a car across a bridge and then land on the windscreen of another car and get up and be like, oh, I'm fine.
Or not even address it.
Yeah, or when he stomps a parking garage and it collapses. It was already blowing up, but his stomp did it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. There's that. He survived other, like, crazier things, but that's, yeah. But whereas John Wick, like, it's canonical that the first 3 movies take place over, like, a week or so, and he barely makes it out of that 3rd movie. And then the 4th one, he definitely dies in that 4th one. It's, yeah, he's
100%.
He's not coming back. Spoilers, I guess. And then we've got Furiosa doing it for the ladies. This is the only iconic character of the 2010s. It's an action star.
Who's that?
Furiosa from Mad... Oh, I didn't... Supposed to talk about Mad Max. I forgot to. Mad Max was a very iconic one. But he was also one that I was like, I don't know, because it's in the apocalypse and it's weird. But Mad Max is introduced. It's very similar to like your John Wick and your Fast and the Furious and your Rambo movies, right? The first one is pretty low-key. He's not really like doing any crazy stuff. There's just a bit of car racing and shooting and stuff. And then from the second one onwards, he is just a force of like killing machine. And even though he is a pretty much just a guy, he will just take anyone down, and he's got the skills and everything like that.
Yeah.
I forgot to talk about him. Mad Max. All 4 of those movies are 10s in their own ways. That was the thing. When Tina Turner died, we forgot to say that she was in Mad Max.
We did,
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, we found out like 2 minutes before recording.
Yes. Also, we forgot to say it before, but Paul Rubens died. He was Pee-wee.
I saw that.
Very sad. He was a nice guy, by the look of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. 2020s. So, we've got Adonis Creed, which is... He's kind of iconic, but also it could just be because it's a Rocky movie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know Rocky.
Michael B. Jordan's character, Adonis Creed. The movies are called Creed. Creed 2 and Creed 3. Yes. I've actually only seen the first one, but I loved it. It's just that the second one wasn't that appealing to me, and I think we just had a kid, and it just got lost to time. And then... the third one just came out, and I'm like, I've got to get around to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I don't know even why I put this on, but Frank from Red, which is a Bruce Willis character, it's the best I got for 2020s. Oh, that shouldn't be in the 2020s. That should be in the 2010s.
2020s is mostly superheroes.
Yeah.
So,
and John Wick.
Which...
Well, it's 2023. Like, we're not that far into it.
That's true, yeah.
But then, you know, you've got, like, I didn't put Ethan Hunt on here. But then he's not really that iconic of a character, is he? Because you don't think of him when you think of the movies that much.
It's more just the movie.
It's more like Tom Cruise. That's why there's no Dwayne The Rock Johnson characters on here.
Yeah.
Because none of his characters are iconic. Excluding Black Adam. And that has nothing to do with him. It's because he's a cool comic book character.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, none of his characters are iconic action-wise. It's just that... And same as, like, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's a lot of Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Yep. Stallone
Yeah.
and Arnold.
Yeah.
Because Arnold didn't make any, like, because he became the Governator, didn't really make any movies in the late 2000s and early 2010s. And then he started coming back. Yeah. So that shows the change from, you know, you got your cool, good movies, iconic characters in there, but it's more about the world of the movie and it's this person against the world. Then the 80s comes in. So this is just a recap. And it's like, basically just, you have to be huge and muscly and the coolest guy, or not even cool, but you have to just annihilate everyone. And there was some other stuff, but this is the iconic characters. And you have to be like, what does that say? The camera did something and stopped recording, so I can't remember where we're up to. But basically, yeah, if in the 80s, not your superheroes. Your heroes were like unstoppable killing machines, basically, and cool people, or they were like the funniest people, or whatever in the room, and then they would take everything on. And they would win no matter what. Then it changes into the 90s and the late 80s and into the 90s, where it was more like your everyman characters, but the ones that stood out were sort of everyman, but they were also the best at everything.
Yeah.
But they were like meant to be affable and goofy, but they could still do it all. And then sometimes they were a bit of a Boy Scout, but they were mostly just like, get in there and get it done, and that kind of thing. And there was like character growth, which is, you know, and then in the 2000s, it was just a hodgepodge, whatever they thought would work.
Yeah.
You got your remakes, you got your legacy sequels, you got like some iconic original ones like the Transporter. Then you got like adaptation characters, so like Hardigan. And then you got the Bride, who is basically a superhero, but, you know. Then 2010s is when it just shit hits the fan hardcore. And there's very few iconic action stars because they're all superheroes now.
Yeah.
So you got your Dom Toretto's, your John Wicks and your Furiosas, and then 2020s, it's just all been thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
But I guess, well, you do get in the 2020s, I can't remember when it came out, but you've got like Nobody and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're all competing with superhero movies, so they have to kind of...
But is the character iconic in that?
No, I'm saying the reason why 2020s, why John Wick and Dom Toretto are all basically superheroes, is because they're competing with the big superhero franchises.
Yes.
And then you get the low-key that, I wouldn't say like low-key, but not as popular, which is like Nobody.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's fair. And that's that. So that's a bit of history of cinema and iconic action movie characters.
Yeah.
What have we been up to?
I gave up
a good segue.
on my book. Like I
Yes.
said last time, I think. Started reading another book. It's a romance book.
Yeah, what's it called?
Hooked.
Hooked.
Yeah, you picked it out.
I don't know. I was like, this one looks good.
Yeah, I was like, Rob's at the library, and I was like, just pick one.
It's impossible.
It's okay.
Because romance doesn't seem to be a genre. It just seems to be a prevailing theme
Yeah.
in other books. Like there was like a thriller one, then like a comedy sort of one, and then like an action one, and then there was ones where it was like a shirtless dude on it, and I was like, that's just porn. So
And then there's like fantasy romance.
Oh, yeah. There's all that. That's a whole other, yeah.
So I'll read this one for now, but I might go check. I might go pick out a new one next time.
What's it about?
So far, it's about a woman who gave up her child, and now her child's grown up, and she is meeting with her daughter, and she's just met the daughter's dad, adoptive dad or something, I think, and they start off hating each other, but now they don't know.
So they're just going to be hooking up real soon.
I think so.
Yeah. Cool. I'm still reading The Darkest Season. I haven't been finding much time to read, but I don't like reading it right before bed anymore because this book's fucking horrific.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy recently planning a birthday party.
Yes, and doing this, setting this all up, making it presentable for camera and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And still not finished.
Yeah.
But we were like, fuck it. Let's just get video done.
Let's give it a go.
And my God, is it so much more complicated than we expected.
Yeah.
So
tricky.
At the moment, it's just going to be single camera. We hope that this camera looks good. You might be listening to this and like, there's no video. I don't know what he's talking about, so you probably won't hear this at all. But we don't know yet. We're hoping that this all turns out well and that we can do this pretty much every time. Maybe not on the themed ones and bonus episodes. They might be audio only. Yeah. But we'll wait and see.
It's just all trial and error.
Yes. But as we said, the movie is so fucking good.
Amazing.
Barbie's good too. It's very simple.
The impact of Oppenheimer stays with you for longer. Yeah.
Barbie, the worst thing that you can do is think too hard about it. Because it's really not trying to send much of a message. So don't do what I did and be like, what did that mean?
What does it all mean?
It's just a good, fun movie. That's my one piece of advice going into it. It's just a good, fun movie.
Yeah. But go listen to our episode on those.
Yes.
On that one.
Yes. Yeah. And the only other thing I've been doing is playing the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. Been playing that alongside our boys, our sons.
The boys.
Yes. They love it. They love watching me play games. And the best part is they haven't figured out that... Well, they do know that they can play games, but they're not really aware of the fact that, like, it's way more fun to play than to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still in that stage. Right now,
they're happy just watching.
Yeah, they're still in that stage where, like, this is just really cool. Yeah. So, going to keep that as long as possible. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up for Chatty Chat Chat, I think, is the comparisons between Western films, as in, like, spaghetti westerns, and how that's declined over the years, and might talk about samurai films and how that impacted westerns.
Another episode where you're gonna take over.
Yeah, but it's a lot of stuff that even I don't know much about. Yeah. So we'll be learning together.
Yes.
And for Cash vs. Trash, we said this last time. We got it wrong. We were supposed to say Jurassic Park then. But this time it really is...
I'm going to butcher this. Un cure en hiver.
Excellent.
What was it? French?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called A Heart in Winter. And it sucked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Why don't you play us out?
If you would like to support us, we'd really appreciate it. You can do that by signing up to our Patreon. We just rebranded a little bit over there.
Revamped.
Yes. You can follow us on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook, Threads, the lot. And our listening apps are Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher.
Wherever you find your podcasts, we should be.
And YouTube.
Yes, this will be going up on YouTube if it does happen.
Yeah.
I'm anxious. But anyway, alrighty. Thank you very much for listening. This has been the Chatty Chat Chat podcast.
See ya.